out, Ange's system ruined players. I worry players don't want to return for their own longevity. The medical staff, what are they doing? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, these medical staff. And where the hell's Romero? Where the hell are all these players? Like, Romero was supposed to be back like 2 weeks ago.
Training, yeah. We saw him in light training, didn't we?
Supposed to be back 2 weeks ago. And I saw a lot of people on the fan show being like, I bet you he turns out for Argentina. And I bet you he does.
Yeah.
I bet you he plays for Argentina in 2-3 weeks' time.
Well, if he does, then we definitely know something's up.
Michael Heung-min as well says, no context needed. The manner that we bottled the League Cup and the FA Cup is a sackable offence. Yeah. No disagreeing with that. But let's move on and let's go to player ratings. And let's start off with Kinsky. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 6. I mean, look, it was obviously a terrible mistake in the first minute to let that goal in. You've got to be saving that, no matter what level of keeper is. I think Vicario saves it. I think Fraser saves it. I think Austin saves it, and Kinsky just lets it go straight through him. But I do think that he dusted himself down after that and made some really important saves to make the score respectable. And I do feel he was probably one of our better players on the pitch, albeit like a lot of the shots in the first half, in the opening 20 minutes, he did parry into dangerous positions in the 2-3 times. So if one of those goes in or two of those goes in, I'd probably mark him down a bit. But the reality is they didn't, and I felt like he did make a number of good saves just to keep us in the game.
Yeah, and credit to him because I thought he recovered well from his mistake, but it was a horrendous mistake, one of the worst I've seen from a keeper in a while, or from a Spurs keeper, I should say, in a long time, in terms of just how he let that shot through him, just kind of dribble past him. It's just horrendous. It's horrendous. It's straight at him. It's got to be an easy save, and he absolutely screwed that up. I thought the parries into dangerous areas weren't pretty. I also thought his passing out the back on the day wasn't particularly great as well. But credit where credit's due, he made some really crucial saves, especially in the second half, and when Ramsey went through one-on-one to make sure that we kind of just were hanging in there in the game and we weren't getting absolutely battered. But the damage, I think, was already kind of done, unfortunately.
Pedro Porro up next. Him gives him a 5. I gave him a 4. I thought, yeah, from a defensive standpoint, I thought he was really poor for the first goal. Obviously gets caught out of position, as he usually does. Yeah, as the game wore on, he did become a bit of an influence on an attacking phase, and he was involved in the goal. But yeah, I'm just really frustrated with Porro from a defensive standpoint, because I feel like the majority of times he's on the pitch, teams just target us down that right-hand side, and it's just a clear avenue where they can get in on a consistent basis, and yesterday was no different.
Yeah, I thought first goal, obviously continues the first minute, he actually watch it back, he's pressing Luca Dean, and I just don't understand. Look, there must be an instruction, so I don't completely blame it completely on him, but I thought, you know, as soon as they got it to Morgan Rogers, you know he's in trouble, because he can drive, he can get into the space, and then all that space on the left-hand side is completely free. Albeit, you know, Kinsky should be saving it. But I thought defensively, he did struggle with Ramsey. Ramsey, obviously very physical, really good driver of the ball, and he struggled to deal with him. But I thought in the second half, he really did step up going forward, and I actually thought really unlucky not to at least have one assist in that second half. Set up a chance for Son, set up a chance for Danso, laid on a plate for Danso, I should say. Should have been a goal. And then obviously laid it off for Decky, who gave it into Tell. So much better second half from Porro. But first half, again, real struggle.
Yeah, Danso up next. Him gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought he was one of the players that did keep up some sort of standards. I thought he was defending all right. But look, he was been put in a really bad situation by the non-existent midfield, where it was just coming back again. And look, I think he stood up and forced Aston Villa into some, you know, wide spaces and not being able to shoot on a clear-cut chance on goal. Second half, he's got to put that chance away at the back post. You know, 10 times out of 10, any player should be putting that in the back of the net. And if he scores that, you know, you never know what can happen in the latter stages of the game. But I did feel, though, like Danso, as much as he did play a few good balls out the back, I did feel like he looked a bit awkward on the ball.
Yeah, I thought his passing was really inconsistent. Sometimes he'll be decent, and a few times he had really good opportunities to play a ball in behind to Tell or to Son, and he just overhit it. But a few times he did that in a good position, and that was really frustrating to watch. Really like his aggressive nature. I like the way he battles for the ball in the middle of the park. He's not scared to step into midfield or get on the ball. And I like the way sometimes he just takes the ball and drives into the centre of the pitch and kind of opens it up, and it is looking good. But too often his passing is wayward and lacks the kind of finesse that it should have, and that's maybe the way he is. I've always thought his passing is positive, but it's sometimes he just rushes his passes and he doesn't kind of get the right weight on it, and that happened way too often yesterday. Defensively, I felt for him. I thought there was some good stuff, but I thought there was some stuff where he get caught out as well. So I thought Daniel Marlon was giving him a lot of trouble running in behind and stuff. But I thought whenever it was like a duel between him and a player, kind of just when it came to like a physical duel, he did come out on top more often than not. So I think there are some positives. You've got to remember it's only a second game, so he's still just getting used to it. But yeah, I think there are some good signs.
Archie Gray next him gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Again, another player that was completely done dirty by the midfield, and it was just coming at him, and he was getting run ragged at times. But he did put a number of good challenges in there as well. There was one notable one at the end from Rashford where he really got in. Rashford looked like he was all but going to score, and he put in a really good challenge. But how much can you ask for an 18-year-old playing here, playing there, playing everywhere? I think he's doing the team and himself a credit at the moment.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I agree with everything you're saying, but I thought he was ran ragged yesterday. I thought it was really poor. No, it's not his fault, but I thought he was getting toyed with at times, to be honest, and I felt for him out there. I thought he really struggled against Marlon. I thought when Bailey cut inside, he was struggling. I thought that period where Rodgers and Asensio were toying with him was hard to watch, and he just couldn't really kind of deal with it. There was even points where playing out the back, he was passing it straight to Villa players, and it was really disappointing. There were some obviously good moments as well. There was one, I think, really good challenge. Who was it on? It was on. He got injured from it. I think it was from Rashford. Yeah, near the end of the game, where he squares him up. He tries to go down the line and does a brilliant sliding challenge just to stop him getting the shot off. And there were some good moments as well, but I thought, unfortunately, again, it just wasn't a good day for him.
Jed Spence up next. Him gives him a 5. I gave him a 6 out at left back. I thought he was probably our most aggressive player on the day, as he usually is. From a defensive standpoint, I think he did okay. Was caught out of position a few times, and I wanted more from Spence in terms of driving into those spaces and going forward and causing a threat, which he has been doing over the last couple of games. But maybe it was a bit of a step too far yesterday.
Yeah. I thought as much as Porro got caught out, I thought he got caught out of position as well a few times. A couple of times Leon Bailey got caught him out of position on that right-hand side and had a couple of chances, which we seemed to deal with at the time. But I think as well he got caught out a few times. On the ball, didn't really have that link up with Tell. I actually thought a few times you saw it, they were kind of arguing who should be running in behind, who should be doing a few things. That obviously takes some getting used to. It's only Tell's second game for Tottenham, so again that comes with learning the system and learning and having that relationship on the pitch. There were some good moments from him where he dribbled his way out of trouble and impressively, and I'm thinking, all right, we're going to start ourselves on attacking. I remember a few times in the second half he made some really good challenges which stopped Villa from getting on the attack and started Tottenham on attacks, but unfortunately it wasn't just quite enough in this game.
Rodrigo Bentancur, 3s all round for Lolo, and he was embarrassing yesterday. 2 embarrassing performances in the space of a week. When you're looking for your experienced players to step up, he did anything but that, really. And for the first goal, he let the offensive player just bypass him way too easily. For the second goal, I don't know what to say apart from just embarrassing defending, just letting Morgan Rogers have the free roam of our penalty area when he should be aggressive and he should be fighting to get that ball off him, and he just stood off him and just let him waltz in and do whatever he needs to do. And for the most part, the midfield was a complete open book, and Rodrigo Bentancur was pretty much central to all of that. He won a few challenges and duels in the middle of the park, but it just wasn't enough. Like he just basically just let Aston Villa have free roam in the middle of the park.
Yeah, really, really poor from Bentancur. So frustrating because he's one of the players who was really playing well before this weekend against Liverpool and against Villa. He's been absolutely shocking. I thought the defending for that second goal was lazy and really disgusting, to be honest, to give it a better word. There were some times where I thought he was really getting where he was really challenging hard and trying to get Tottenham on the front foot in the first half. But second half, I thought he just completely gave up. I think especially for that second goal, and I thought he lacked that defense, that positional sense. He was kind of chasing after the ball too much, and it led to Tottenham just being wide open in that central midfield. And he was partnered with Decky and Bergvall, so a lot of responsibility was on him in that position, and he just wasn't up to it.
Yeah, Lucas Bergvall up next. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. I did feel out of the midfield duo of him and Bentancur, at least with Bergvall, what you saw was effort. He was trying to run around, putting some effort and desire, putting challenges in, and really like fighting tooth and nail for the team. I thought he was. Yeah, the quality wasn't there, but I do feel like a few little passes around the back as well, which he showed a few signs of quality. But again, he's a player that's just running on empty a bit at the moment, and I think that showed yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he did commit a lot of energy to the game, and the numbers. I mean, he made 5 tackles or 6 tackles in the game, but he also got dribbled past 3 times, and I think that was due to Morgan Rogers' ability in that middle of the park just to glide past people, and he struggled to deal with Rogers. I think Lucas Bergvall, he was getting himself about, but again as well, I also thought he did lack discipline a lot in his positional play, wasn't picking up the men he should have been, and as much as he was trying, I think that youthful exuberance maybe worked against him a bit at times during the game, where he's chasing after the ball, he's trying to do everything he can to win it back, but sometimes you just need to be calm and you need to be making sure you're doing the right things defensively, and just wasn't doing that. Also committed quite a few fouls. Maybe did he end up getting booked in the end? He didn't get booked again, which he always does.
Probably could have got sent off, to be fair.
Maybe was persistent fouling as well. So on the ball as well, wasn't the quality that we know he can provide in that area of the pitch as well. So unfortunately, wasn't great.
He made 4 fouls on the day, and I thought at least one of them he did get booked for. I think at least 1 or 2 more could have been a booking. Decky up next. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. I mean, again, another player that's just completely running on empty. I seem to say this every single week. It's not getting better. But our best moments in the game and our moments of quality all seem to come through him, which is a credit to him. Great ball round the back for Mikey Moore, which produced our best chance in the game for Sonny with the 1-on-1, and an unbelievable cross for Matisse Tell to get his goal in the stoppage time. So yeah, I mean, he's finding it hard to match up to the physical levels of which he was showing in the first half of the season, but he is providing moments of quality for us.
Yeah, I thought first half he wasn't great, to be honest, and I thought he did provide that one moment for Moore, which Son had the chance, but I thought by and large, he struggled. I thought a lot of times, albeit again, stats-wise, I mean, 5 tackles, won 9 of his 13 duels. So, that suggests physically it wasn't his problem yesterday. I thought in the second half he was a lot better, and I thought he was giving Luca Dean a lot of trouble. I thought he was taking him on, causing him problems, getting to the byline, and obviously he did create the assist for the goal for Tell. Brilliant ball in behind, really put on a plate for him, albeit still had a lot to do, Tell, for the finish, but really well played from Decky. So I thought one of the brighter sparks yesterday. Interestingly, he was much better on the wing than he was in the centre, which is not what we usually say. But didn't think he was terrible. But I thought first half, again, we were trying to wrestle control in that midfield, and he was a big reason as well while we were allowing it to be bypassed.
Mikey Moore, who lasted only 45 minutes. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Like I said before, best moment in the game comes from him putting on a plate for Sonny, where he's got to be doing better. But apart from that, I felt he was well shepherded out of the game, to be honest. And, he was getting on the ball, but every time he seemed to be muscled off it and looked a bit lightweight against a Aston Villa, very aggressive Aston Villa side.
Yeah, I agree. I know he created that one moment for Son, but I just thought throughout the half he was kind of being bullied. I thought Luca Dean was doing a job on him. He was, every time we're getting the ball into feet, he was just muscling him off the ball. He just couldn't really live with Luca Dean. And to credit to Moore, that he was able in those circumstances to still create an opportunity and still find a moment of quality. But unfortunately, he just wasn't really getting any sort of spare change a lot of the time out of Dean. And I thought he at times did look a bit like a 17-year-old on that pitch.
Which he is. Son Heung-min falls all round for Sonny, and he had chances in the game. to put the ball in the back of the net, and he just didn't take any of them. The first one in the first half, you just have to score that. Any player's got to score that. It's a gilt-edged chance, but he just peters into Martinez straight at him. And in the second half, he had a chance to put it in the back of the net. He ends up passing the ball, and I just don't understand why he did pass it. But he gets a tiny bit of credit for getting into the opportunities, but apart from that, he was pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, he's got to be finishing his chances, and he had a number of them, and chances that you expect a player of Son's calibre to. And when we've seen it so many times, that Son's got to be putting those in the back of the net. The one where he hits it straight at Martinez, I don't know how he doesn't score that. It's such a great opportunity. He's got time to pick his spot. He could, he obviously is laid right on a plate for him. Doesn't have to take a touch, and he somehow just hits it straight at Martinez. I know he makes himself big, but he's got both corners to aim at, and he hits it straight at him, which is so disappointing. Second half, he got a chance to run in behind Bogard. Brilliant ball from Decky on that occasion to find Son in behind. Doesn't get the shot off quick enough, and Bogard gets back in on him. Porro lays one on a play. He decides to lay off Bissouma instead of taking the shot on himself. Once he moved over to the left-hand side, I thought he was making some really poor decisions. There was one moment where he cut inside. It looked like there was some players in the back post to aim at, and he decided to take a really weak shot instead from a poor angle. And I thought he tried to kind of, he feels that responsibility's on. You can see it. He just tries to do too much himself sometimes. And I thought when he moved to the left-hand side, he was doing too much himself. Some of his set pieces really poor, overhit, not enough quality. And he'll be very disappointed that he didn't put away some of those chances he got running in behind. And I think that's why he was put in that position, to kind of break the high line that Villa had and get him behind. And, he should have put those chances away.
Tell, the last of the starting 11, his first start for Tottenham Hotspur. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought there were some nice things in there where he was able to get on the ball, beat his man. But again, I thought he was a bit lightweight out on that left-hand side. And he was trying hard, putting a lot of effort in the game, but nothing was really coming off for him, to be honest. And, he did get his goal when he moved over to the 9, and he looked a bit better there. And it was a really nice finish. But I do think he showed a bit about himself yesterday, and he showed he can be a good player, and there are maybe signs of life there, and maybe it's something to be excited about. But I just felt like he was well shepherded when he was out on that left-hand side. But again, an aggressive Aston Villa side, and he didn't really have the physicality to counteract what they had.
Yeah, I agree. I think when he was on the left-hand side, I did think he kind of flattered to deceive a bit when he was on the ball. I don't think he did much good. I think he was trying to link up with a few different players. And again, I think he's still obviously establishing those relationships. He hasn't even probably had enough time on the training pitch with these players, to be honest, to kind of establish those relationships and understand what kind of players he's playing with and them understanding him as well. He was trying to sometimes do these little link-ups which came to nothing. Few players weren't on his wavelength as well. I thought a lot of the time he was being wasteful, and he was giving the ball away cheaply, which he did for the second goal, which really put us in trouble, which led to Villa scoring that second goal. I did think he did work hard though, and a lot of the times he was helping out Spence and tracking back and doing a lot of things. And I thought for the last 20 minutes or so, when he moved to centre forward, he was a lot better. I thought he was running the channels a bit better than Son. He was holding the ball up a bit better, using his pace. And I also thought he took his goal really, really well. It's actually a brilliant finish outside of the boot. Cushions it into the corner, and that's the finish of a real good striker. And let's hope we see him in that position a bit more. And I thought the timing of the run was really good, the way he peeled off Bogard. I just thought it was a brilliant striker's goal. So hopefully we see more of that from Tell going forward.
Yeah, and last but not least on the playing staff is Yves Bissouma, 5s all round for Biss, and he came on at half-time, and I thought straight away he added a bit more presence for us in the middle of the park. He was aggressive, he was pressing, and it looked like, we were starting to gain momentum in the game and start to get on top. But as soon as Aston Villa scored that goal on the hour mark, I thought he pretty much vanished out of the game. And again, he was showing worrying traits as the non-existent midfield reared its ugly head again.
Yeah, I thought for 20 minutes he was really good and really helped us establish a bit of control in this game. But as soon as we went 2-0 down, he just went all over the place. And I thought he had his hand in that second goal as well. Could have brought down, I think it was Ramsey, on the edge of the box. Just wasn't able to do it. Should have taken the yellow card. Should have just dragged him down. Instead, he kind of allowed him to run off him. And then I thought he kind of lost control of that midfield once Villa got that second wind and once they got that second goal and the momentum that came with it. So killer blow, that second goal. And also he had that chance as well where Son lays it on for him. Should be bringing off a better shot than he did. So I thought we did improve when he came on, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately.
And last but not least, Ange Postecoglou. 3s all round for Ange. That's 2 trophies out, FA Cup and League Cup in the space of 4 days. And you got to say, both of them completely embarrassing performances. He did make a change at half-time to maybe, bring the momentum in our favour for a little bit. But then as soon as Villa scored, it was back to square one again. And we were back to the levels that we saw in the first half, which is the reality. And, he's the job that he's doing at the moment, it does deserve the sack, and that's all I can say about it. It's just really poor management. We're losing every game. He can't seem to muster up anything to get results in our favour, and it's just really hard to watch. You look at the tactics and you look at the midfield, and it's just nowhere to be seen. We're not even trying to make it hard, or he's trying, I guess, but we're not even making it hard for oppositions to do anything against us. And we're just an open book from the midfield to the defence to the attack. There's just nothing about us at the moment.
Yeah, and it's hard to watch. I think it's really hard to watch at the moment with Tottenham. We're losing games week in, week out. We've just gone out of 2 cups in 4 days, which we held a lot of hope for, but unfortunately we were hoping the injury crisis would let up in time for this week. It didn't, and it came probably it's week too late when it comes back next week, and that's the reality of the situation. We played 2 very good teams. Liverpool battered us. Villa beat us fairly. We deserved to lose. Villa had more chances than us. I thought, in terms of the change he made, they did change it positively, and it looked like we did come out and it would look like we were gonna equalise, if anything, but it didn't happen. We conceded during the best moment for us in the game, and it took the game away from us and completely killed us in that moment, and we let our heads drop and we ended up going out. I thought the front 3, I didn't really like the way it was constructed when it came to Son up front, Tell on the left, more on the right. I thought if you're going to do that, maybe play more on the left and Tell on the right, and probably should have started Tell up front, seeing as how we ended the game. But Son did have chances, and Son, if he puts one of those away, I'm probably not criticising it as much as I am now. But it was also a bit of a curious decision to play Gray ahead of Davis at centre back. And I thought Gray really struggled. I don't know if Davis would have fared much better, but I thought it was a bit of a curious decision to do that. Maybe just feels like Gray deserves his spot, so he started him. And I thought we didn't do enough in terms of tactically, the way our midfield was open and the pressing structure was a bit all over the place, to be honest. Now, whether it's because the players are in the condition they are, or is it what he's telling him to do, it's hard to know. But what's for sure is he sets up the team and he sets up the way we press, and it was nowhere near good enough, and it was all over the place, and Villa found it very easy to break through it. So he's got to take responsibility for that. But as well, there are things I feel sorry for, like the Kinsky mistake. He can't do much about that. The Son chances missed. He can't do much about that. So there's a bit of give and take, but at the end of the day, we deserve to lose, and that's the reality.
All right, well, that is our player ratings